Welcome to episode 12 of Four Shot Podcast, where we discuss all things HCS and some things Halo. I am your host, Phelan, and with me, I have airport attendant number one, Phade.
Number one.
Number one.
Yeah, live
Moving
here
up
from
in the world.
beautiful Oakland International Airport. So,
Would you care to explain to the viewers why you decided to film from Oakland International Airport rather than just for the lulz?
well, yeah, I mean, the scenery is awesome, but I'm here with my wife, and we are going on our honeymoon. So, to Hawaii.
Beautiful. Young love. I used to know the feeling. Sad face.
What, are we trying to depress people now?
Not intentionally. Moving into current rosters, I don't think there's really much to talk about other than Contra's still with Noble?
Yeah, I think maybe the only thing that is Element 6, one of the amateur teams, has now rebranded as Bittersweet. So I think that might be the only thing.
Yeah, and I know in the past we talked about potentially Contra leaving Noble, and it seemed like that was what was happening, and then they're still playing together, and they made it through the transfer period, so I'm not entirely sure what's going on with that.
Yeah, I think that was probably just trolling or something.
Maybe.
Or they just realized that they couldn't find anyone better.
Yeah, I mean, that would be my guess, is that there's probably still bad blood, but when it comes down to it, there's not that many better options available.
Yeah.
All right, moving into some scrim talk, and I just wanted to bring this up because this is going to feed into this week's cup, is Optic was scrimming against Winter Fox, and I'm not sure what the series ended up at, but when I left, Optic was up 5-0 over Winter Fox in a online scrim.
What day was this?
It was either Thursday or Friday, I believe, before this past weekend. So,
well, I think Denial beat Optic like 7-1 or something yesterday, and then EG played somebody and swept them. I don't know.
Yeah,
well, been some scrims recently. It's basically just been Denial and EG beating people.
Yeah, the big one here is just Optic and Winter Fox end up meeting each other in the Legendary Cup. So I wanted to point out that during this scrim, Optic did at least had a 5-0 lead. I'm not sure how it all played out, but they were on a roll at that point.
Yeah.
So moving in the Online Cup 6 amateur section, the teams that make it through are going to be Noble, Nevo, Active Rush, Bittersweet, formerly known as Element 6, Vanquish, Aware, Annex, and Reality Check. And I don't have any notable didn't make it's.
Yeah, I don't think there really was one.
Yeah, I think there were only 19 teams even in the Open. It was an all-time low, it seemed like, for the number of teams that actually participated in the Online Cup.
Yeah, and I think part of it's just that there's no chance. I mean, a lot of these teams have realized they're not going to win the money, and they're not going to get enough points for it to matter for anything. So I feel like the whole season is kind of just tailed off like that.
Yeah, that as the season progresses and there's less and less chance of getting points to make it to a finals out in Cali, there's less incentive for any team to try to make it there. That especially teams that are just forming.
Right.
So unless you're doing it for the fun, which I imagine the most of those top 19 are outside of our normal
practice,
8.
Basically.
Yeah. Moving into the Legendary side of things, I missed most of the round of 16 because it was Father's Day, so I was, doing things with my dad and my grandfather, and I didn't get back till about 5 o'clock. So at that point, I had missed a lot of the round of 16 bracket. But the one thing that I missed altogether, which I don't think anyone was streaming it anyway, so I don't know if I would have saw it, was Noble versus Excellence.
Yeah, nobody was. I actually tried to find that one.
Yeah, I have no idea what the game score was. Not sure how all that played out. All I know is Noble beat Excellence, which is either maybe Excellence had a bad day or Noble just had a good day. I'm not sure how that played out.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think those teams. I don't think Excellence is significantly farther ahead than Noble. I think they're pretty close, but Excellence is probably just a little bit better. And today Noble was better, or obviously Sunday Noble was better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know scores of that at all, unfortunately. So it's not much we can say about it. I think the real story from the round of 16 is reality checking happening.
Yeah, Liquid got a reality check like no tomorrow.
So Suds finally pulling off an upset, get top 8 in a online cup rather than the standard 9 to 16.
Yeah, so reality check ends up winning the series 3-2, and game 5 was Lockdown Slayer, and reality check ends up winning it 50 to 49. The game was 49-49 for a good 2 or 3 minutes. I think it was right around the 4 or 5 minute mark. It was 49-49,
Yeah.
and then it just, everything came to a halt.
Yeah, did you watch it?
Yeah, that's the one. That's the only game I caught of the round of 16. Was
Yeah, I was able to
Team
catch
Slayer
the end
game.
of it too. Or I watched the game 4 as well. But
Yeah, I just caught. Yeah, I came in maybe around like 10, somewhere around like 10-10 as far as the Slayer game was going. So I caught most of that game, and yeah, the game came in just a standstill. Neither team, wanted to make a move, and going, the last couple minutes, I believe it was Septic was trapped at bottom blue, and the rest of Reality Check was at BR, and all of Liquid was at Sniper, and so Ninja just kept
raining nades on bottom blue.
Ninja just kept, they kept saying, guys, we need to make a decision. We need to make a decision. What are we gonna do? And they kept saying, let's pinch blue. That's our best option to get one kill is to pinch blue. And then they're not making a move, and another minute passes, and another minute passes, and finally, right around like 1:30 to 1 minute left, a Sniper was down top mid that Sud 2, I believe, picked up. And at that point, Liquid knew they kind of had to make a move if they're going to, because they didn't want to get their heads picked off. So they decided to pinch bottom blue. Ninja going through the top, and then Spartan or Shooter going elbow. I can't remember who it was. I want to say it was Spartan. And I'm not exactly sure what happened, but long story short, Septic naded and ended up killing Spartan on elbow, stealing the reality check win. I was a little disappointed that Sud 2 didn't get like just the most ridiculous no-scope to win it, but, reality check still pulls off a huge upset.
Yeah, unfortunately I was watching it from Team Liquid's point of view.
Yeah, I was watching Liquid's point of view.
I didn't get to see the yelling and screaming.
I went back and specifically went to Sud 2's stream just to see the celebration.
Yeah.
I did do that, afterwards.
Yeah, by the time I got over there, it wasn't quite as... one sec.
Asking all remaining customers, please report to Gate 9. Your aircraft is fully boarded.
All right, aircraft is fully boarded, so apologize for that. I'm sure you will hear that a few times.
I'll have to make notes so I can cut those out.
All right. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to get over there in time to see their celebration or their reaction to winning. But I'm sure there was lots of F-bombs dropped by Sud 2 and, your trashes said about Ninja or whatever. But
yeah, it was a lot of celebrating.
It's a big upset for him. But in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really mean anything.
No, the fact that they didn't do anything past the round of 8, you have to get past the round of 8 in the online cups for your points to really start mattering. The difference between 9 through 16 and 8th and 7th, I think, is like only 10 points. So it's not like, you made top 8, but in the grand scheme of things, you're not progressing your standings that much better.
And even then, I think someone posted, even with excellence losing round 1, it would have taken Reality Check getting like 2nd or something to be able to take the 8 seed from them.
Yeah, it would take a lot in these online cups for anyone to make that big of a move.
Yeah.
Once again,
it's going to be this weekend's cup that's going to really determine, everything. And after seeing Noble win and maybe Excellence falter a little bit, it makes you think that maybe that last spot, might be open. Especially with Liquid faltering too. Maybe those last 2 spots aren't as sealed as we're believing they might be.
Yeah, no, it's totally a possibility right there. Just depending on how the placing. I think we've talked about it like ad nauseum, that it's really going to take beating a team in the 9-10 spot. 9-10-11 is going to have to outplace a team in the 6-7-8 spots by like 3 placings and finish like top 4. So
Yeah.
top 5 or top 4. So, really, I mean, it's a big challenge, and I'm not really expecting it from anybody for it to happen. So
I'll let you know if there's any big upsets. I'll shoot you a text.
yeah, unfortunately, yeah, I haven't got.
You'll just get oh my god, reality check just won, Indy.
Yeah, right. I'm just gonna assume troll at that point. But yeah, unfortunately, I won't get to see this weekend, but I will watch rebroadcast where they're available when I get back from my honeymoon. But I'll be too busy get my tan on in Hawaii.
I'm glad you went with the PG answer. Alrighty, there. Moving into the round of 8, we have EG versus Noble. Noble coming off the pretty big well, not necessarily big upset, but the upset of excellence nonetheless. And then EG just 3-0s them, as we're accustomed to seeing. I don't think any of the games were really that close. I know I was watching it, but nothing stands out to me as important, so I think they're pretty much one-sided affairs.
Yeah.
And then, let's see, our second game here is CLG versus C9. C9 squeaks out the win 3-2 in a very close, hard-fought series. These teams, they're very much on the same level at this point. Whenever they play each other, they seem to go to a Game 5.
Number 6.
Sorry.
Bernardo Francisco Bernardo Luz.
Let me write that down.
Francisco.
Alright.
Something about Francisco.
So yeah, anytime this CLG and C9 play each other, the matches always tend to go to a game 5. The interesting thing here is the first 4 games were actually won by the team that was off host. Thought that was a interesting little tidbit.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, we typically see, at least like with EG and Denial, it almost always goes 3-2 or something like that. Or maybe 3-1, but there's so many series that we see where it's the host wins every.
Yeah, and that's not the case. The last 2 weeks, it's been with CLG and C9.
Yeah.
It's been the off host winning most of the time. And yeah, like I said, at this point, they're very close to each other. At least online, we'll have to see what happens when they show up on Sunday or Saturday night. I'm not sure when they'll play each other.
Yeah, so did you guys do predictions on that last week?
We did just standard predictions for who we thought would win. As far as ours goes from 2 weeks ago, I scrapped it for that week, A, because you weren't on last week, and B, because Cloud9 got hit off, so I thought it was unfair to say that CLG won because of hysteria and having more problems.
But I picked CLG.
Yeah, and I picked C9, and they got hit off, and that's unfair for C9.
Hey, I believe you took a win when Winter Fox got hit off.
When did Winter Fox get hit off? I don't even remember that.
The Denial Winter Fox fiasco.
Oh, I thought I gave you the win.
No, because I got 3rd or whatever, because Denial got 2nd, and Winter Fox got 4th, and Cloud9 3rd because of the whole thing.
I don't remember.
I don't know. I'm just messing around.
Either way, it's a clouded judgment. We'll call it a wash. We'll have to worry about it going forward. But yeah, I'm excited to see these two teams actually play each other on LAN. And like I said, I'm not sure how the tournament's set up right now. I haven't seen a schedule, so they'll either hit each other. I imagine they'll hit each other late Saturday night. Is usually when usually Sunday starts off with the top 2 left in the legend, the winners, and the top 4
My guess
and
is
the losers.
Well, if we're talking in the round of 8, it'll probably be Saturday morning. And then Saturday night is the semifinals.
So yeah, they may hit each other twice depending on how it plays out.
Yeah, so the 4 and 5 seeds will play each other, presumably, assuming they win. And I believe it's early Saturday morning.
Okay, so yeah. Make sure you guys tune in for that. That'll be a hype match to watch.
Yeah, that should be one of the better matches of this round, I believe.
All right, moving into the third game, we have Winter Fox versus Optic. As I alluded to earlier, when they scrimmed, Optic was up 5-0, and they seem to be playing really well and maybe shocking some people. And Winter Fox ends up pulling out the win here, 3-2. It was a very close series. Definitely not the same as the scrim that I had watched earlier. But I was personally expecting maybe a 3-1, 3-0 by Winter Fox, thinking that Optic just has not been playing too well in the last couple of weeks. But Optic played tough and took it to a Game 5.
Yeah, they did. It's nice to see them doing slightly better again after a couple weeks of not doing well. Although, the first couple cups, they did, or not the first one. I think it was 3 and 4 maybe that they did. Optic got top 4 in.
Yeah, they did the first 2 they did bad, then the next 2 they did good, then the last 2 they did bad, and they've been very up and down.
Yeah, so it's hard for me to peg them. I think overall I'm pretty underwhelmed by them. So
Yeah. Game 4, our final game of round of 8. We have Denial versus Reality Check. Hashtag Sud Life. Getting ready to see another Sud upset. And
Nope.
Denial just 3-0s them. It was just a spanking. You know, it was less close than the EG Noble match even was. Like, you know, Reality Check does not belong in the top 8, and they make that very clear here.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we said, is like they're one of those teams that they're very, very much a 9-16 team that could occasionally pull off an upset. And I mean, like, very occasionally.
Yeah, once, to be in particular, as we've seen.
Right,
Twice
yeah.
if you count last season.
Basically, I will not be predicting them top 8 at.
No.
At
I don't
Indy,
think
so.
I don't think anyone except the Suds will be predicting that.
Yeah.
Moving to the semifinals, then, we actually have our top 4 all make it through. So we have EG versus C9. And EG ends up pulling out a 3-2 win. But the important note here is that C9 was up 2-0 and then choked all 3 of the last games.
Yeah,
to
that
close out the
EG
series.
comeback.
Yeah. I was super excited to maybe see, you know, a C9 versus Winter Fox finals, you know, something, you know, completely out of the blue that no one was going to be predicting. And unfortunately, you know, C9 just, for whatever reason, they just couldn't clutch it up.
Yeah, or EG clutched it, you know, either way, whatever way you want to look at it. It's probably a mixture of both. I think Cloud9 should be able, if they're up 2-0, I feel like they should be able to close out that series.
Yeah, I think if you're to lose 3 in a row after being up 2, it's your team not closing it out. Versus if, you know, if it was like maybe 2-1, then maybe, yeah, it's EG, you know, clutching it themselves. But I feel like if you're going to give up 3 in a row after having, you know, gone up 2, that's, you know, your team not doing what you need to do to win. To their, you know, faults or whatever you want to say, 2 of those maps were Warlock, 2 of the final 3.
Which is their best.
Yeah, they've made it very clear that Warlock is by far their worst map. So that was a little unfortunate as far as, you know, just how the randomizing of the map rotation came around. But, you know, that one of those were not, you know, I think it was whatever the game 5 was. It was 2 objective games on Warlord that they lost, and then there was game 5 Slayer. I think it was Shrine. So, you know, they had the chance to clutch it out on a non-Warlock map and still couldn't do it.
Yeah. No, it is nice to see them stepping up a little more. It gives me hope for them at Indianapolis. Because, I mean, despite being the number 4 seed, I guess they've been performing generally right around there. Sometimes losing to CLG and finishing in the top 6 or whatever, but it gives me hope that they could finish top 4 at Indianapolis, and potentially top 3 or something through the losers bracket or anything like that. I don't see them winning the event really, or making the finals, but who knows? I mean, it's an experienced roster, so.
Yeah, I see, you know, I could see them easily making a push to the finals this weekend. They've been playing the recent weeks. They've been getting better and better, and EG and Denial have both shown that maybe they're not, you know, as far ahead as the other teams. You know, we used to talk about how there was a 1 and maybe, you know, clearly a top 2, and then it was everyone else, and those waters are starting to get a little bit more muddy at this point, and I'm thinking it's getting closer to maybe a top 4 or top 5, and that, you know, any of those teams could take it at any time.
And I feel like that's how we started the season, thinking that, you know, the top 5 were all pretty even, and then EG kind of separated themselves a little bit.
Yeah, EG and Denial both kind of separated themselves for just I think it was 3-4 cups in a row that they were just 1-2, 1-2, 1-2.
Yeah.
So.
But not the case, because Denial did not finish top 2 this time. Winter Fox did.
Denial got denialed.
Denied.
You know, I was trying to make a joke and it just didn't come out right. But yeah, Denial got denied their you know, chance to fight EG in the last online cup, and Winter Fox clutches at 3-2. This was a series where Host was winning back and forth, and then game 5 rolled around, and Winter Fox absolutely dominated the Shrine Slayer game. I think they ended up winning by 12 or 13 kills. But, you know, Nated he did a great job of controlling Rockets and controlling Ring. And as a team, they were just, you know, playing lights out. They were, you know, hitting all their calls, making great call outs. doing a great job getting players down and having their teammates clean up the kills for them without dying themselves. It was just all around. It was a very, Winter Fox was playing very well. It was a very well-oiled machine, and it makes me believe that it's not necessarily a fluke. The last couple of weeks between winning and last week and then getting to the finals here, that they're a team that could easily just win this at any point. Maybe the maps just need to fall in their favor.
No, they can. I think they've proven throughout the whole season, really. I think they won the first cup, and then, or at least the first
they won Cup 1.
Preseason cup.
They won Cup 1, and then they won Cup 6.
Yeah, and the preseason cups. I think they won both the preseason cups.
Yeah, I believe.
So they've shown that they can beat teams and make upsets throughout. So I wouldn't be shocked to see them beat EG or even finish first at the event. That's not what I would predict, but I wouldn't be shocked by it. They are a team that can do that, and it's not like some complete outlier. Like if Excellence or Optic or something was to win an event, like that would be a complete shock. Where Winter Fox winning an event, I think that could happen. Like with, I don't know if consistency is the right word. But,
if they took 2 out of 6, that's one.
Yeah, exactly. So 1/3 basically. I think that's a fair statement to say that they could win 1/3 of the events.
Yeah, and let's see, what Denial won once, and then EG won 3, I believe. So technically, Winter Fox has won more than Denial has at this point, as far as the online cups go.
Denial's been more consistent with their placings, but I think that is one thing with Denial. I don't think they have that almost like flash in the pan type of thing about them, where they just get hot and roll through people. Where I think Winter Fox has that a little bit more.
Yeah, they're very, they went from finishing 9 through 16, and then the very next week winning. So they're very much a hot and cold team.
Yeah.
And the one note I had about this series is, if you get a chance to go back, watch, I believe it was Game 1, Shrine Bomb. Hines knows exactly where he can run after a bomb is planted to not die. Not him planting it himself, but when he's in the base helping his teammates out, his teammate gets the plant, he knows exactly how far he needs to go to not die. And there's a couple times I watched, he would just touch around the corner and just sit there, and I'm just like, oh, he's gonna die, what's he doing? And the explosion would go off, he would live, turn right around, and just start slaying the base again, allowing his team to, potentially get 2, 3 in a row. Like, he did a very good job of maintaining a base through the bomb explosions, which I've never seen another player do it quite like that.
That's something that players should probably be doing more of, like, getting in customs and, like, exploding the bomb and really, like, establishing where exactly they can stand. And then, like, memorizing, like, the markings on the ground of where that's at and everything, so they know exactly where they can sit.
Yeah.
That's the type of stuff I would expect from pro players.
Yeah, and maybe other pros are doing it, and they haven't had the opportunities to do it as well. But
and I'm sure that's probably the case.
I saw Hines do it like 3 times, because there's only 3 bomb plants. But all 3 times he did it almost perfectly. So
yeah.
Moving into the finals then, EG versus Winter Fox, a rematch of last week, where Winter Fox won last week 3-2. This week we have a rematch of the series, and a very close series, but EG ends up taking it 3-1. I believe it was 2-1, EG was up, and in Game 4, I want to say it was Shrine Flag, and...
pretty sure it was Shrine Bomb, actually.
Shrine Bomb. Whatever it was, it was 2-2. I remember the score being 2-2 in the game, and it could have gone either way at any point. It was very close, and EG ends up...
triple kill at the end.
Yeah,
and
just
wiped out
EG came up very calm, ended up pulling out the win, ending it in Game 4, and not letting it get to a Game 5.
Yeah. Actually, Roy had 2 really big plays. Like, one, he had the sniper in Winter Fox base and was, like, protecting his teammate. I don't know who was planting, whether it was Lethal or Snipe Down or Lunchbox, but they were planting the bomb, and they ended up dying, and Roy's just killing people, and then he ends up finishing the bomb plant and everything. And it was just like a really nice play of controlling Winter Fox base. And then again, for the third final plant, at the end, he gets like he dies, and he gets like 2 kills in their base, dies, and so he spawns in his base and is pushing up from his snipe onto their car. and jumps out towards main ramp and just starts cleaning up guys and 1v1 people, and he ends up getting a triple kill, and then they win the game because there's no one left, and that was it. But he had a very nice play right at the end to steal that last bomb plant.
Yeah, for sure. So we look at the results then for Online Cup 6. We got EG going first place, Winter Fox second. Denial's going to edge out C9 for third, allowing C9 to get fourth. And then Noble Optic getting 5th and 6th, and CLG and RC getting 7th and 8th.
Yeah, and I believe, didn't Noble beat CLG?
I'm just about to check that now. I was just about to check who played who.
I'm pretty sure Noble played CLG, and Optic played Reality Check, but I'm not certain on that.
Yeah, that sounds right. I know I looked at it somewhere. I would have to go searching for it, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Noble ended up beating CLG, which was kind of a shock.
Yeah, so because of it, there was no changes in the standings. I guess Noble, they gained 10 points on excellence, or actually, I think they gained 25 points. So they're now within 50 of excellence. So they're definitely within striking distance now, but it is going to be a challenge for them. Liquid 25 points behind Optic now. They were 5, I believe, but they had the 9 to 16 placing this week, so they lost some ground. But I don't think there's too many changes really. That I think the only thing, Noble could take excellence and Liquid could take Optic, and maybe Optic overplacing CLG if CLG has a real bad event. Those are the only changes in standings I can see happening from Indianapolis.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing to know here is that Liquid had a huge chance to potentially jump up past Optic at this tournament. Yes. And then completely choked it. If Liquid's able to get up into 6th place, that's going to put them against Winter Fox versus having to play Denial. Which, Winter Fox has been playing really well recently, so maybe it might actually be good that they're in 7th if we think Winter Fox is the better team between them and Denial. But either way, you want to try to get the highest seeding you can to try to, avoid the better teams early on. And unfortunately, they just came out flat this weekend, is what it came down to.
Yeah, definitely. So, we'll see how that happens, or what happens there in Indianapolis, though.
Yeah.
So it looks like you guys did power rankings.
Yeah, so we did a power ranking similar to you would see, in your standards.
NFL
NFL, any sport where, just because a team might have a certain record or standing doesn't mean, that's where we think they actually line up as far as skills go. And we said, taking everyone on a good day, everything's even, on land, no one's having a bad day, everyone's, playing as well as they can. Where do we think teams, fall as far as the top 8 go? And this is our rankings from last week. We had EG 1, Denial 2, Winter Fox 3, C9 4, Liquid 5, CLG 6, Excellence 7th, and Optic 8th. I think there's going to be a little movement this week based off of what we, Liquid and Excellence both kind of having a bad week.
Yeah.
Do you want to just start from 8th and work our way down, or do you want to just talk about what you think should change?
Well, let's just start with 8 and who you think the 8th, number 8 in the power rankings would be.
I'm going to go Excellence after seeing them drop to Noble. Even though I'm pretty sure Excellence has beat Optic the last few times that they played them. Excellence faltering is enough for me to believe that, this is maybe they're just not quite where we expect them to be.
Yeah, and I absolutely agree. I think Excellence at this point would be the 8th in the power ranking. And I think you deserve to move down if you lose to someone below you, basically. So. Yeah.
And if you feel Noble should be in there, we can put Noble in there.
No, obviously, but I don't.
Okay.
And Reality Check is not there either.
All right, so 7th, are we gonna just bump Optic up 1? Who are we going in 7th?
I'm gonna put. Well. I'm gonna toss up between Liquid and Optic for 7.
I think I think this weekend was a fluke for Liquid. I think all things even, Liquid would beat Optic in a heads-up match, personally.
Yeah,
That's just the
I
way I'm
think
leaning.
that's fair. I think that's fair. I'll go with you on that one.
But yeah, I would definitely put
So-
Liquid 6.
Liquid 6th.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Will we move CLG,
CLG.
up to 5th?
Yep.
And then
Even
leave...
though they didn't have a good event, I think they finished.
Like,
Yeah, they did not have a good
like
online,
for
but I don't
bars,
think
people
I think
that
everyone else had
GG
worse, basically.
for
Yeah, so, and as far as C9, I think 4th is right about
Absolutely.
fine. The only, I think, question here is Winter Fox in denial. Are we fine with Winter Fox being 3rd, or do we want to push them up to 2?
So for me, I would move Winter Fox to 2 because this is a power ranking based on right now, and for the last 2 weeks, Winter Fox has been better than Denial, and so for that reason, I would have them at 2.
I would completely agree. Winter Fox, even though they did have 3 weeks ago, they had that really rough week. The last 2 weeks, they've been on top of their game.
And
come out
again, this
strong.
is not what my ranking for the season would be.
No, yeah, this is supposed to
it
be
would
just
be I would pick Denial, but
a week-to-week
in a
power
moment-
ranking.
Exactly.
Yeah. So as far as predictions from last podcast go, I said Denial. Exo said Denial.
You guys are both terrible.
Yeah, we kind of wash
I
out.
obviously said EG.
What was that?
I said I obviously said EG.
Yeah, I meant to ask you and then never
It's
got
all good.
around to it. Before Sunday, at least. I was gonna message you and just be like, who would you have actually picked besides knowing the fact that EG just won? Like,
Yeah.
but I figured at that point it was too late. So predictions for this weekend, Indy. How do we want to take care of it this weekend?
Well,
Do we want to do number 1? Because there's we have a talk of possibly 3 teams, maybe 4 that could win it. Do we want to just do straight up number 1? And
I mean, we can do number 1. Or here, let's just do
I didn't put any of
a top 8 basically. Well, that'd be pretty difficult. How about we pause on this and we can create a little bracket and then fill it out, and then just.
Okay.
But well, actually, I can do it in my head real fast. Basically, I'm picking EG first.
Okay.
I'm gonna pick Denial second. I'm gonna go Cloud9 third. Winter Fox 4. Liquid 5th. Oh, jumping the gun right there with the CLG. Oh, you're doing yours, I see.
Yeah, I'm doing mine.
All right, I'll fill mine out. So, EG, Denial, Cloud9, Winter Fox, Liquid for me in 5th, followed by CLG in 6th, Excellence in 7th, and Optic in 8th. I'm just going to stick with the top 8. There will probably be a team that hops in there.
Yeah, I expect at least one upset of a team outside the
but-
top 8 to be in the top 8.
But I don't know who. It'll probably be Noble. If I had to guess, it'd be Noble for Optic, actually. But we'll see.
Yeah, Noble's definitely up there. I think Annex has a really strong shot. They've made some upsets. They have a potential to get up there. And while we're talking about it, I kind of forgot to mention earlier. Or no, we'll hit it in the next part. Never mind. We'll hit it in the next section. So for my top 8, kind of similar to yours, I have Denial 1, EG 2, and then C9 3, Winter Fox 4. So our 3 and 4s are going to be the same.
So explain that to me real fast. What makes you think Denial will beat EG?
After
When I don't believe that they've beat EG once the entire season.
After seeing the last tournament, where the very first tournament of the season, Atlanta, seeing how close that was on LAN, the online cups are the online cups, and to some extent they show a team's skill, but I think I'm kind of basing this off of what I saw in Atlanta combined with any upgrades or downgrades I've slightly seen in teamwork going from throughout the online process. And part of it is I just want to be a little bit different than you, because otherwise our brackets are going to be a little identical. And
Okay, that's fair.
If anyone's going to be EG, I think it's going to be not Denial. Winter Fox hasn't proven themselves on LAN yet, so that's kind of why I'm a little hesitant on them.
That's fair, but the only thing I would argue is that Winter Fox has at least proven they beat EG twice in the online cups. or 3 times in the online cups.
I don't think they beat them the first time. I think the first time EG didn't make it that
because they were because they were the 4 seed and they beat EG, I believe. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, we'd have to go back and verify.
Yeah, but I mean, Denial's only win against EG the entire season hasn't even been a win. It was the first half of the grand finals in Atlanta. You know, they won that one 3-2, that one series, but because the one online cup that Denial won, they didn't even play EG in the finals.
Yeah.
So I don't have any confidence that I think Denial's a team that can win an event, but I don't see them beating EG in an event. So I think the only way that Denial's going to win an event is if they don't play EG.
And that's possible. I mean, EG's going to play Winter Fox in the semis.
Yeah.
And could knock them out. So.
Yeah.
And you were correct. Winter Fox beat EG.
Okay. Winter Fox is going to play Denial in the semis. So the only way that EG doesn't play Denial is if EG loses to Cloud9 in the semis and then loses to Winter Fox in the losers bracket final, and then Winter Fox plays Denial or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's my argument for why I don't see Denial winning, is just because I don't have any faith that they can beat EG. I think they can beat any other team fine, and I think Winter Fox, for whatever reason, is probably better off. They're more capable of beating Denial, or Winter Fox is more capable of beating EG than Denial is of beating EG, even though I think Denial is better than Winter Fox.
I agree with that, but the only thing is Winter Fox has yet to, I mean, we've only seen one LAN with them, but exactly. I don't know if they can show up on LAN. That's what
strikes again, or whatever.
Yeah. So I'm going to, based off of what you said, I'm going to alter a little bit. I'm still going to say Denial wins, but I'll say C9 gets second, because I think Winter Fox will knock EG down and to the losers.
You mean Cloud9 knocks EG down?
No, because Winter Fox and EG, okay, that's right. Winter Fox will play, or EG will play Cloud9.
Yeah.
So Cloud9 will win that matchup.
Okay.
Knocking EG down to the losers bracket. Denial and Winter Fox. I think Denial edges out that series. Mm-hmm. Winter Fox will beat EG down in the bottom part.
If you think Winter Fox beats EG, then EG is in 4th.
Or no, I meant to say EG, because I don't think Winter Fox is going to show up on LAN.
Yeah, EG beats Winter Fox, and then Cloud9 loses to Denial.
Yeah, and then Cloud9 beats EG again.
Yeah.
And Denial's going to... Yeah, that's how I think it'll roughly play out.
All right.
And then... So Winter Fox 4, then CLG 5th. I have Liquid in 6th, because Liquid, we haven't seen them on LAN at all. So we, other than, the Excellence LAN. So we really don't know what they're going to do. And then... Excellence 7th and Optic 8th.
Yeah.
So our big differences are, let's see, our 5th and 6th we disagree, and then 1 through 3 we disagree. So. Yep.
So we'll see how wrong you are, how right I am.
Yeah, potentially. What? Yeah.
There's no potential. It's a certainty.
Okay. To be fair, you have been beating me a lot, so most of the time. I am not the best when it comes to these prediction things. That's why I lose at the casino all the time.
Well, we also try and differentiate our opinions, and I always predict first, so sometimes I steal what you wanted.
Yeah, I mean, that is part of the problem, is that if we just voted the exact same way, then...
What's the point?
Yeah.
Yeah. So community news, Randa, just wanted to give our condolences to him and his family. His brother passed away. Not the brother that used to play Halo under the name Randa and everything, but one of his brothers passed away, and so he was holding a 24-hour stream to raise money for that. I don't know what the final total was. When I last saw it, it was 800 something.
That's what I saw too.
Okay, is what he had raised. Obviously, you never want to hear about that or anything, and it's sad and everything, but I'm glad that the community was able to step up and help him raise some money so that his family can provide a nice celebration of his brother's life.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that, first and foremost, the guy gets a lot of shit. And when anything like this happens, you gotta kind of have to put stuff like that aside. And regardless of his persona and how he acts online and the way he portrays himself, anyone losing a close family member, it's awful. I've luckily been able to dodge that most of my life. I haven't really had anyone that close to me pass, so I'm not sure. I don't know the feelings and having to go through what he went through, but it's got to be awful to say the least. And the one thing that he made the 800, which is still a lot of money, but I think his goal was like 6,000, I think, maybe something like that. And I just wonder how much he's gone out, like, put himself against the Halo community in general, that hurt him when it came to raising money. Like, you see people like Snipe Down bring in a lot, like, 2,000 when he did his 24-hour stream.
Yeah.
Roy did, like, I think 2,000 or 3,000 when he did his stream for his charities. And it's just like, Randa's, obviously, he's not a Snipe Down, he's not a Roy, he's not those big names. But everyone was hosting him, and I just wonder how much him, pitting himself against the community costs, in a time like this, people aren't willing to, help him out. So
no, and I think you're right there. That did play a factor. And the other thing, it sucks to say this, and I get it from Randa's point of view. So a lot of people wanted to know how his brother passed, and Randa didn't really want to talk about it. And I understand that. But I do think that maybe he didn't raise as much because he wasn't willing to say. Because when I was in the stream watching, there was a lot. People were in the chat complaining that he wouldn't tell him or say how his brother passed, which I get, and they probably shouldn't have been pestering him for it. But if people are donating money, they want to know that it's not random making it up. And I'm not accusing him of doing this. But I feel like some people might have had that opinion, and that's largely based on what you're talking about, how he's pitted himself against the community and really, like, almost like exiled himself in a way, to the point where people don't want to help him out and they don't trust him that his family has actually gone through something terrible like this. And that's unfortunate that it's gotten to a point where that might be the case. Where people don't believe him and stuff, because there's no way that he's, lying about this. His family obviously has gone through a terrible situation, and I understand not wanting to talk about it, but I think, like you were saying, if he was somebody else, him not talking about it wouldn't have been a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, from my point of view, we always kind of shit on Randa for not being the best, not being one of the better pros or whatever you want to say. But in a situation like this, it's like, I mean, a death in anyone's family is hard on, the family. But there's a difference between, say, his brother getting into a car accident, that wasn't his fault, versus him being the drunk driver that got in the car accident and caused it on himself.
There is, and I understand. I get that, and
I think that's point. Him not talking about it. People are just like, it's hard to give money to a situation where you don't know what the cause is. Yeah. It's just like, maybe it's like, why should I give you all this money? $50 to $100 if
his brother OD'd on heroin.
It's just like if it was your brother did it to himself, and it's just like, that's still a loss for the family, but it's just like, it's I don't know. He should have at least said something about it. And I understand, you're hurt and you may not want to talk about it, but even if he just mentioned it once to his mods and his mods took care of it in chat the rest of the time and he didn't have to worry about it, something so people could stay informed.
Yeah, exactly. A very quick statement, just, oh, he passed in a car accident or whatever. I think would have gone a long ways to helping him raise more funds, which I think he should have. I think he deserved to I don't want to use the word deserve. I don't feel like people deserve stuff, but
smoking is not allowed in the terminal.
I think that I don't know what the right word is then, but he could have earned more, and I would have liked to see him earn more, I guess is the best way I can say it. And I think he would have had he just had a quick little statement about what happened.
Yeah.
So that might have been a poor decision, but like I said, I understand, and you'd hope that people would be able to look just be able to decide, you know what, it doesn't really matter too much what it is, or like why or how his brother passed. Let me help him and his family in their time of need. But, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I consider myself a fairly charitable person, and I like to help people out when I can, but it's just like something about the situation. It's just like I felt too distant from, just donating money for something. All I knew was that his brother had passed, and I didn't know, like, was he even close to his brother? Is it just a brother that happened to pass that he never talked to and never even knew? It's like maybe it's a brother that he's only had met once. Like, there's just so much that I didn't know, and I just didn't feel comfortable.
No, exactly. And there's so many people that I'm sure the exact same position as you that would have donated, $5, $10 or whatever, or $1, whatever it was, had they known a little bit more or felt a little bit more connected to the situation. So, I'm disappointed, or I feel sad for him and feel bad for him and everything, him and his family, especially if he's hoping to raise 6,000 only gets 800. That sucks, but I feel like he could have taken a few different steps to be able to get closer to that 6,000 mark.
Oh yeah, agreed. All right,
anyway,
let's try to get past this morbid topic a little bit here. Not necessarily good news, but some different news here. Active Rush looks like they're not going to be making it to Indy. Prototype posted a thing on the Team Beyond Seeds discussion thread, whatever you want to call it, saying that it looks like for whatever reason he wasn't going to make it, or his team wasn't going to make it. So,
my guess is they're, looking at the point totals and realizing that they don't have a chance of making it to the season 2 finals, so they're not going to go.
Yeah, I think it may also be that maybe, Active Rush, as far as I know, is just their own team name. It's not, an esport by any standard. So for them to spend the money to go to a tournament where they know the chances of them progressing in said tournament is unlikely.
Yeah, they're not going to make season 2 finals, and they're probably not going to get top 4 or something, which I think is what you would need to
pay for the trip.
To pay back what you would, recoup your losses. So
yeah,
I get that, and they're probably still going to play the next online cup and everything, and then continue to work towards Halo 5. Whether they stay together, I don't know, but that's probably what they're all thinking.
Yeah, I know he said he was going to post a video talking about it, and I'm not sure if he has. I'm just kind of clicking through right now to see. Last I knew, he just posted that he wasn't going to make it, so I'm not sure if that video is up or not on Prototype's
I don't believe it is. So.
Yeah, so well, hopefully, whatever that comes out, check in on that, and he'll probably have some more information beyond what we're just guessing at this point. And then our last piece of news, Ninja's Vine.
Yeah, Ninja's Vine.
Let's get a little upbeat here a little bit. So Ninja posted a Vine of he posted this Monday morning, I believe, and the title of it was "Waking Up Thinking It's a Wonderful Day, but remembering you lost a reality check." And I'll link it obviously in the comments and stuff, so you guys can take a look of it. But it's hilarious. It's nice to see that Ninja wasn't too upset by the loss, I guess.
And everything.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sure he was upset, but the fact that he can, take it on the chin type of deal is good to see. He can make light of it.
Especially, I mean, losing to the Suds is that's the bad part, is him being able to take it on the chin when he loses to the Suds. And we've talked before about how Ninja kind of always has this rivalry with the Suds, and for that to be the team, of all the 9 through 16 teams, for that to be the team that takes him down.
Yeah,
it definitely had to hurt, but like you said, he took it lightly, and there were people throwing around things that Liquid was dropping Ninja, Sunday right after the match. If you were in various streamers' channels watching the rest of the cup, people were like, Ninja got dropped, and obviously it was a troll. There's no transfer period, unless Liquid was willing to forfeit all their points, which would be stupid. He wasn't going to get dropped. No one expected him to actually get dropped. It's a team effort. The team lost. It wasn't Ninja's fault by any. Yeah, it wasn't his fault that the team lost. The team in general just came out flat, and it was what it was. But
yeah, so I guess this week we have can you hear?
Yeah, hold on just a second.
Yeah.
in Los Angeles plane side.
Apologies again. Some big-time announcements going on.
Get off the plane and give them right back to you. So please don't forget to grab your bags plane side in Los Angeles. They do not transfer. They do not go to the
They do not transfer. The transfer period is over in the airport as well.
See, even the airport knows.
Even the airport knows there's no transfer period right now.
Oh, I thought we stopped for a second. Nope, we're back.
Along with our Diamond Elite members, you're welcome to board.
All right. So there's no tip trick of the week because our question section is going to be a little bit longer.
This is a special security announcement. Please maintain control of your personal belongings at all times. Unattended baggage is subject to search, inspection, damage, and removal. Do not accept items or packages from unknown individuals.
I feel like you should always go by that.
That just seems a rule to live a life by.
Don't take stuff from strangers.
All right. So, back into our conversation here. There's no tip trick of the week because our question section is going to be a little bit longer, so we're going to opt out of the tip trick of the week. And our question section is going to be some halfway awards for Season 2. I wanted to do this last week, but you weren't around, and I wanted to wait for you to have these discussions. And I feel like this is a good point before the final 2 tournaments to kind of say, like, maybe a halfway point-ish. And then we'll revisit this at the end of the season and see what changes, what improves, what doesn't improve. And I've been contemplating maybe whoever we call MVP for the season, maybe I'll make a trophy, and if I can get them to give me their address, I'll send them a trophy. For what it's worth.
That'd be cool.
If I can get, whoever we declare the winner to actually give me their address. Well, could be a little creepery, and they might not be willing, but we'll see how that plays out when we get to that point. But starting things off here, most improved, and it could be player or team, and we both went with excellence as most improved. They came out of nowheres, more or less nowheres, kind of just coming out of the amateur bracket, working hard every week, and consistently placing top 8 until this past week. Placing
couple top 6,
couple top 6s, having the LAN with the other pro teams, which it kind of helps to their validity that the pro teams would be willing to LAN with them. So I would say they're my most improved, and you seem to agree.
Yeah, I was gonna try and go with a player, but it was going to be a player on excellence, and I felt it was unfair to pick one of them when I feel like the entire team has really stepped up and improved more than anybody else. So that's why I went with the entire team.
Most underrated. These are the players that we're going to say, that just don't get enough appreciation. And I went with Mikwin. He's starting to get more appreciation now than he was at the beginning of the season. But that being said, I still think people, when they think of the best sniper in the game, everyone still thinks of Snipe Down. But I don't think that, in my personal opinion, that's no longer true. I think Mikwin, from what I've seen, has the best sniper currently in Halo. And, that all has a lot to do with his ability to hit the no-scope body shots and be able to clean up so his teammates can clean up shots. And just the fact that he doesn't miss. He doesn't always get the headshot. But, as the sniper, you don't always need to. You just need to get that body shot so your teammates can do the quick cleanup. And Snipe Down seems to always more or less go for that headshot. And, I think he misses a little bit more. So, I mean, all around, I think Mikwin's the better sniper. And for that, I think he's kind of underrated because I don't think everyone sees it in that light.
Yeah, I think that's completely fair. I think you're right. He is kind of growing, like his popularity, and everyone's like recognizing, hey, this guy is like not underrated at all. He's like one of the best players on Denial, one of the best players in the league, and it's getting there, but he is still underrated. So I agree. For me, I picked the most underrated as Ryan Noob. I feel like Ryan Noob is really smart. I feel like he's one of the smarter players in the league, and is very versatile. He can do almost anything and play in almost any way.
He can play almost any game. I just want to throw that in there. Wasn't he like a really good Dota player at one point? And I think he's a really good COD player or something too.
Yeah, something like that. I'm not entirely sure about that, but he's a lot like Heinz to me, and it's funny because that's kind of like why he ended up not playing with Heinz, is because Heinz thought he was too similar to him, in the sense that he kind of and like I think he elevates his teammates and like plays in a way that makes them all better. Because he can do so many different little things. He doesn't have like one particular style. which lets him, just kind of fill in all of the gaps. And so I think that's one of the big reasons why he's underrated. And again, I mentioned how smart he is. I think he understands the game better than most. Like, I think a lot of players are instinctual, where I think Ryan Noob is instinctual, but also has just a very knowledgeable understanding of the game and how it can and should be played. So he's my pick for most underrated.
Okay. Best Slayer. I have APG for Best Slayer. I was kind of a toss-up between APG and Roy at this point. I was kind of wavering back and forth. And what really differentiated it for me was I see Roy doing a lot more objective work than APG ever does. Roy's kind of more of an overall. He's definitely gone from just being 4-shot Roy back in Halo 2 to being a more overall player and kind of helping fill in where he needs to and just doing what he's got to do to win. Whereas I see APG, I don't know if I ever see him do any of the objective work, really. Like, he's a very much, the slayer of the team. And very much so, because he's got one of the best VRs in the game. He's got one of the best mindsets for how to get kills in the game. He's very creative in his play style and can outsmart people on the fly, on top of just, having the strong slaying skills. So that's why I ended up putting APG up there.
And I actually went with APG's teammate. I said Miquin. You were talking about sniping and everything, and I think that's a big part of it. I think Miquin's the best pure slayer. You look at all the scrims that Denial has, and it's nearly every single one. Miquin has the highest KD, and part of that, he hosts for them online, but he just even at Atlanta, I believe he had the highest KD on his team, or one of the highest in the tournament actually, also. But extremely strong slayer, and just he's very good at that. I don't know how. I feel like sometimes his objective decisions aren't as good, and he even talked about even in Atlanta, one of the games, when he had his God sniping game, he actually said that he thinks he lost that game for his team despite going off because of his objective play and stuff. So to me, he's just extremely talented at killing people and staying alive. He gets kills and stays alive, but I don't know how much he always does objectively. Obviously, he can play objective just like all these pros, but to me, he's just the best pure slayer.
Yeah, I mean, I contemplated Miquin too at this point, but I think obviously his sniping is what I've already said is what I think is the best in the game. His BR is good, but it's not the greatest, and the sniper isn't always available on every map, especially with Warlord. And Lockdown, there is only one, so...
No, but even those maps, he ends up with, Warlord, he'll end up with the most kills all the time. And sniping's great, but I think it's mostly his positioning. I think he positions himself very well and puts himself in places where he can kill people and without being killed, basically, or isolates kills and things like that, or gets good flanks and everything. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was very close between a few guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot of players that you could put into that best slayer role and have a great argument for it.
Boy, you can pick... Miquin, you can pick APG.
You can pick most of Cloud9.
Yeah, exactly.
Next, we had Best Objective Player. I went with Nated just because he has stepped up as far as Winter Fox, even before Winter Fox, but specifically on Winter Fox. He is, I don't know if he's intentionally done it or not, but he's become the main objective player on that team, on top of being one of the better slayers in the game. And his game has just grown so much with his objective play, and it just amazes me some of the plays he can do with the objective and how smart he is with it and how well he can stay alive and get the kills and then just go right back to objective work. And so I right now I think and I had a toss up between him and Lunchbox, but I think just Nated's play overall the last few weeks kind of elevated that for me.
Yeah, and for me, I had to say Lunchbox, like you just mentioned. For me, he's the best objective player on the best team, and I don't think it's really to me. It's not even close in the league. He's the best objective player. He does this objective while killing people and stuff. To me, it's unbelievable. Some of the things that he can do and the way that he just understands the maps and the positions and stuff and when and when not to do objective and everything. So it's just for me, it was Lunchbox, and it was pretty easy. It's I can't point to any one particular moment, but it's just a consistent way he plays that, like, I feel like he's so good at it that it makes it look super easy, and so you don't notice it. And it's also like he's so good at it that it means that his team doesn't have to do as much, even though they are. I feel like, I don't know. I just feel
I
like
get what you're saying, and the only reason I didn't choose Lunchbox is because EG as a whole, kind of, Lunchbox, I guess you could say, is the main objective player, but EG as a whole all kind of do the objective work.
Yeah,
whereas Nated on Winter Fox, you don't. I don't think Arcanum's allowed to touch an objective. I'm pretty sure they've told him that before. Ryanoob, I mean, he does sometimes, but Ryanoob's kind of become more of a Slayer at this point. Randa's obviously more of a Slayer, or tries to be a Slayer. And it's just like, Nated's kind of become the default objective player just out of necessity on that team. And I think that alone is the reason I went with him. Like, yeah, maybe like straight up, I mean, it's hard to compare, unless they're on the exact same situation, the same teams. It's hard to actually know for sure. And maybe straight up Lunchbox is the better straight up objective player. But I think based off of how the players have to play on their teams right now, and with the teams around them, Nated is doing the best objective work. Maybe that's a better way to say it, in my opinion.
Or the most.
Yeah, the most efficient objective work.
Well, okay. I would say the most efficient is, I feel like Lunchbox is the most efficient. But Nated is definitely doing the most, like, total, like the most legwork, probably.
Okay,
like,
yeah. I don't know.
He's taking the bulk of his teams.
Yeah, for sure. And since there's obviously more objective work than Slayer work as far as the game types go, so that obviously helps out too. All right, the Big Daddy Award, MVP. There's tons of people we could have all picked from. We've kind of already had this discussion a little bit before. I went with Roy. You went with his twin Lunchbox. We're not that far off. Roy being the top Slayer.
No, I was so close to taking Roy as well.
Yeah, Lunchbox being the best objective player, as you mentioned. Pretty much, Snipe Down could have been there. When I looked at this award, I think Snipe Down could have been there. So, that's 3 people from EG right there. Mikwin could have been thrown up there. Arguably Nated for, his willingness to become the objective player when it's not something...
even, because I feel like Chig is almost like a glue for, or Chig. Hines. There's a lot of players that we could have thrown in here. It's a very close race. And I went with Roy, but I don't know if that'll be true come end of the season. Like, this is the one award where I can very easily change my mind come the end of the season, based on the next 2 lands. Definitely. And for me, again, Lunchbox, and it's kind of what I said. I think that he does things he makes it look so easy. Like, running the objective and things like that, because he's like, it's not like he's not getting kills or anything. He's killing people, running the objective, and positioning himself in like such great ways that I think he makes the game easier for everyone that he plays with, and it makes Roy and Snipe Down shine even more than they already would, because obviously they're extremely talented. And Roy's, I think Roy and Lunchbox, like we both put, are probably the 2 top, followed by 3rd for Snipe Down for MVP. So I think the top 3 are EG members. But for me, it's Lunchbox. I just think he's has the most complete game in Halo, and I don't know. I don't know what else to say about it aside from he just makes things easier for everybody around him, and for that reason, I think he's the most valuable member to his team. That without Lunchbox, they would be hurting more than if they had lost anybody else on their team.
Yeah, and like I said, this will be a tough one, and maybe when it comes down to it, we'll just have to make this the best twins award and just give them both the trophy.
This is a final
right.
call for Eric Lee, Inderson, and Keith Young at gate 15. We're closing the door in 1 minute. Once the door
closing the door.
Open for boarding gate 15.
You're gonna miss your plane, Eric Lee.
All right.
Let's go down to
All-Star
most
teams.
Disappointing player. No, we'll do that last.
I'll do that last. All right, most disappointing player. I'll let you go first this time.
All right. I went with Flame Sword, and this isn't just like a gameplay reason. I feel like Flame Sword has the chance to really help Halo grow through his YouTube presence and everything. He gets more viewers than anybody else. But half of his videos now are on Destiny, which I love Destiny. I'd play it more than Halo right now. But Flame Sword is a Halo pro, and right now he's transitioning to a gaming personality, not so much a Halo pro. Obviously, he's still a Halo player, but he's more than that now. But I feel like he's kind of like let down his responsibilities for Halo. You know, Optic, I feel like, has underperformed a little bit, and I think part of that is Flame Sword with all his other responsibilities and everything. And I'm not saying that's bad, because he does have responsibilities in life, and like, you know, this is his career, and so he's doing things to help that better. But for me, as a Halo player, Flame Sword has been the biggest disappointment for me this season.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really argue with those points. When I thought about it, I went with Randa. Not just because of his Landa videos, or because of his community, you know, hatred, or whatever you want to call his, you know, him versus the Halo community. I think it just comes down to, you know, Winter Fox as a whole is a very hot and cold team. You know, they could, at any time they could be one of the best, and at any time they could be one of the worst. And I think Randa shows that more as an individual on that team than anyone else. You know, obviously it's a team game, but he's very much a hot or cold player. I don't ever see him as kind of like middle of the road. He's either performing extremely well or performing extremely bad. And just from my personal viewing experience, I usually see him more on the lower side than the upper side. And that's not saying that, you know, he doesn't have his good games, because he definitely does. And obviously, if Winter Fox is winning, he deserves to be on the team, and he deserves to be considered a pro. I just think that from what I've seen up to this point, he needs to do something. If he could get his game more consistent, I think Winter Fox could take their game to the next level and consistently compete for the #1 spot.
Yeah.
And I think he's what's holding that team back from that consistency, at least.
So who do you think is the most overrated player?
This I went with Ninja. You know, he's the biggest persona. He's the biggest persona online. And this isn't me saying the worst player or anything along those lines.
Right.
Ninja, he's a great player, and he, you know, as far as Liquid goes as a team, he's kind of right about where his skill level is, and I think that's a perfect fit for him. But just because he just has a huge following because of his Twitch presence, and you know, just because he's a big streamer on Twitch, a lot of people think he's one of the best players, and are always like, Ninja's one of the greatest all time. And I see constant discussions in chats about Ninja being one of the top like 10 best players to ever play Halo, or top 20 best players to ever play Halo. And it's just like, guys, he's good, but he's not as great as everyone gives him credit for. It's just a lot of, fan bandwagoning, and people are just like, they like who they like. It's your favorite player, so you're going to root him on and think he's better than anyone else. And I can understand that. But from a completely, non-objective,
unbiased,
non-biased, non-objective standpoint, he's good, but he's definitely hyped up more than what people think. And I think on top of that, him getting dropped from Cloud9 kind of shows that.
Yeah. I mean, you've made some like great points, and it like almost makes me want to switch to Ninja, just because, like you said, like good player, but he's got the fans that hype him more than he deserves, and that's really the definition of overrated. I'm going to get crucified here, but for me, I picked the most overrated, and remember, I'm talking about right now for season 2 only. For season 2 only, I picked Ogre 2, and I'm sure I will be crucified. Because Ogre 2 is the greatest player of all time. But right now, this season, I personally believe that he's one of the problems with SteelG. Or one of the problems. There's multiple, but I believe that he is one of the problems, if not maybe the biggest. I don't see the dedication from him anymore, and I don't see the gameplay from him anymore. I'm not saying he's done. He's like over, like he's whatever. But in season 2, I feel like part of that's he was gone for 3 weeks for the wedding and everything like that. But he's the GOAT, but he's not the GOAT right now. He's not the greatest player right now, and people like to, I feel like, give him a pass almost because he's the greatest of all time. They're like, oh, it doesn't matter what he does right now. No, it does matter, because at some point everybody's not the best anymore, and right now he's not the best anymore. He's the best over a career. But we're talking 2015. In season 2, he is not the best player, and a lot of people like to think that he is. And I think for that reason, I think he's one of the most overrated.
Yeah, and I mean, he's getting to that point in his career where it's, how long is it going to take for him to realize that he's not where he used to be? And I mean, maybe, I mean, there's always the chance that Halo 5, for whatever reason, fits his skill set better. I don't think it will. I don't think he's going to do any better at Halo 5 than he will at MCC. But, you know, I think a great example is kind of how Walshy was. You know, Halo 1, he was right on top. Halo 2, pretty much on top. Halo 3 just kind of starts dwindling, and, you know, he's on a different team every tournament, and he's getting kicked around, starting to play with less, you know, people that aren't as good. It kind of showed that, like, his skill set just dwindled, and I think it took Walshy a little too long to realize that he needed to retire. And I just hope that Ogre 2 doesn't have the same problem. I hope, you know, I think I would like to see players walk out when it's the same, you know, it's same across all sports. It's nice to see players walk out at the right time rather than trying to stick it out too long and, you know, not, you know, hurting themselves overall.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of leads into our next award, which is the quote-unquote Lifetime Achievement Award, or, you know, the It's About Time You're Done Award.
Yeah, it's about time to retire, and congratulations, you had a great career, but maybe you should think about stopping.
Yeah, and I'm not quite to the point where you should stop, but if this is a opposite of most improved, you know, that's the way I'm looking at it, I'm going to pick Ogre 2. I feel like he's, you know, dropped down a few rungs from where his best has been. And I think, I'm not saying it's because, oh, he's older and he can't play anymore or whatever. I think it's largely just due to his desire. I don't think that, I mean, he's played this game, you know, or this series for so long that I think he's bored of it. He's tired of it, and it just doesn't excite him anymore to where it makes him want to continue to try and get better.
Yeah, I mean, I went with Ogre 2 as well. He was my vote for this. And it's just, you know, I kind of I feel where he's, you know, he's coming from. When I played Halo 2, I got my start. I started playing Halo back in Halo 1, and as soon as the day Halo 2 was launched, I was playing online. And I played online all the way up through Halo 2 into Halo 3. And I mean, I'm, what, 4, 5, 9 years older? I guess 10 if you want to count the release date of what, you know, actually when Halo 2 came out. And my skills are very much diminished compared to what they used to be. I mean, I used to be one of the better players that I knew or had seen in Halo 2. And as far as even when I play Halo 2 Classic now, in MCC, just my skills are diminished. And, you know, it's, as you get older, it's just tough to, you know, keep that reaction time and keep the dedication to be able to play all the time, because you become an adult and have adult things to do.
Yeah, exactly. We're in high school. We get out of the school and, oh, we got nothing else to do besides play Halo for 10 hours a day.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what he does for a normal job, but I assume he has one. I don't think he can make a living. He makes a living off of playing video games at this point.
I mean, he's not streaming full-time or anything like Ninja, so, yeah, I don't know what he's doing full-time, but I'm sure there's something. And, you know, the older that you get, you can't put the same amount of time into it as you once could. I mean, partly just because you have other responsibilities, but partly because, you know, I feel like it gets a little bit, it gets dull faster, maybe, than it used to, or I'm not sure, but I think he's getting to the point where he's kind of sticking around and doing it because there's still a little bit of money to be made, and he is great at it, but it's not so much from a desire or enjoyment anymore. And I think because it's not from enjoyment is why he's starting to slip down a little bit more than I think anybody would like to see.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's the oldest player playing right now.
Yeah.
By probably a good margin when you sit down and think about it.
Not too much. I think he's only a year or two older than Fear Itself, and like
is
Roy.
Fear Itself really? Roy, I know Roy's 24. Lunchbox is 24, obviously then too.
No, I think they're.
I'm pretty sure they're a year younger than me.
I thought they graduated this high school the same year I did.
I thought they were a year younger, but either way, I'm not sure how old Fizz was. I always assumed he was just my age as well. But Ogre 2's 29, 28, 29.
Yeah, I think he's 28, maybe 29, something like that. Anyway.
I mean, it's not that big of a difference, but at the end of the day, all esports in general, not just Halo, it's a younger person's sport. They have more time to commit. They have the better reflexes. You know, they have the better ability to sit down and just stare at a screen all day. And as we get older, you know, we lose all of that for whatever reason. You know, by the age of, I think 22 or 23 is considered to be your peak, like where you peak out as far as reaction time, and after that point, it's all downhill. And that's been proven before, something like that. I forget exactly what the age is, but I know it's early 20s basically is your peak reaction time. So from that standpoint alone, you're gonna start slipping downhill, and it's it's nothing against him and nothing against the amount of work he puts in. It's just at some point you physically, just like in football and just like in basketball and any other sport, you physically just can't keep up with the young kids, and it's what's starting to show with them at this point.
Yeah. So, okay, so if we're going to talk about all-star teams, traditionally we've always done, East Coast versus West Coast or whatever. We did something a little different and just did it based on seeds, and, we picked one player from each team to fill out the rosters. And so it'd be the one player from the first seed, third, fifth, and seventh seeds versus one player from the second, fourth, sixth, and eighth seeded teams. So you go first for your odds. Who did you pick? From EG.
Yeah, from EG, I went with Roy. From Winter Fox, which would be the third team, I went with Naden. For the fifth team, I struggled. As far as CLG goes, I kind of struggled to pick one. Obviously, it's not going to be Ogre 2 based on our recent conversation. I'm just not a fan of Royal 2 and Snakebite's communication, and I don't think that, their skills, their skills are fine, but from a communication standpoint, I wouldn't, if I was personally putting a team together, I wouldn't want to put them on that team. So by default, I kind of got stuck with Cloud there. And then for the seventh team from Liquid, I went with Ares. And kind of looking at the team now, I don't really have a sniper on the team, so I'm a little worried about that from the build-up.
And I think Roy can snipe pretty well, so.
I mean, yeah, Roy can. I think he'll hold fine. Obviously, I had Nated on there for the objective work. I think Ares has a great BR and great communication. I think Ares is the best communicator in MCC at this point. Whenever I listen to Liquid's callouts, I think he says exactly what he needs to say at the perfect time. Never more, never less. I think he's doing great with that. Roy obviously is the Slayer, and kind of Cloud is hopefully the fill-in player on the team to kind of fill in where he's needed. But that was my odds team.
Yeah. So my odds team, I also went with Roy. Despite saying Lunchbox was like the MVP, I felt like just to combine and make this team, Roy was what I needed from EG. So I went with Roy, that that strong slaying presence, but overall a very well-rounded game and everything. And then I went with Ryan Noob, kind of how I talked about with underrated. That's from the number 3 seed, Winter Fox. Because I think he can do anything. I think he's the player that can do a lot of that objective work and everything. And he's extremely smart. For my 5th seeded team from CLG, I took Snakebite. I think Snakebite's actually one of the most well-rounded players, and I think of him very highly. A lot of people don't because of his communication. I know him and the why he says stuff the way he does, so I don't have a problem with it. Assuming the other players that are on the team understand also, I don't see it as too much of a negative factor. And I think, like I said, he's very talented. And then I also went with Ares. Like you said, communication, very good, and a very talented player in his own right. So, I have Roy, Ryan, Noob, Snakebite, and Ares as my odds all-star team.
Okay, and then, so we'll move into evens then. For my evens from number 2 Denial, I went with McWin. Because that sniper, you gotta have it. From 4, which would have been Cloud9, I kind of wavered here a bunch, and I kind of came back to this one last based on the rest of the team. I ultimately end up going with Victory because I kind of needed a support/objective player. I needed someone on the team that could step up and do that. And I felt picking, Pistola, Fear, Hysteria, they're predominantly Slayers. And so I didn't feel comfortable putting, obviously I would say they're probably the better players, but from a team makeup standpoint, I wanted Victory on the team. And then in 6th we have Optic, so I went with Ace. I think Ace is clearly the best player on that team. all around, both slaying and kind of support work. He doesn't do too much of the objective work, but he's all around, I think, the best player on that team. And then for number 8, we have excellence. This was kind of another toss-up. Like, everyone on the team, we don't know them very well compared to some of the other teams and some of the other players. And from a standpoint of just what I've seen, I'm going with Kobe, because I think Kobe's kind of the glue that holds that team together. So hopefully that comes over to the All-Star team and helps them out. So my evens team is McWin, Victory, Ace, and Kobe.
Yeah, for me, I kind of had the same theory as you, but I started with Ace, like you did. I thought he was like the easy pick, and he was like my quote unquote sniper slayer type that I picked. To complement him slaying wise, I picked Pistola from Cloud9. So that's where like my big slaying duo almost, and then so I needed that kind of objective support, glue type player, and for me that was Chig. So I took Chig from Denial. I think he's one of the most experienced and like well-rounded players there is. Does everything very well, so I like Chig there. And then I took Unlegit from Excellence. Kind of similar how you said with Kobe. We don't know them too much because they're all newer players, so we don't have a huge understanding of the way they play, plus the fact that none of them free, so we don't get a chance to watch them that often. But from stats I've seen, I feel like Unlegit does quite a bit of objective work, so that's kind of why I picked him from there. So yeah, that's Chig, Pistola, Ace, and Unlegit for my evens team.
All right.
And I think we both agreed that we do believe the odds would win.
Yeah, I would hands down pick the odds team.
So yeah, so that's what we went with.
This makes me rethink. Halo doesn't have any sort of fantasy esport league or anything like that. Like, I know League of Legends and Dota just got stuff like that where players can draft a team and they give out points and stats, and that's not something that Halo has. And maybe that's a project I should work on.
Yeah, the LAN network used to do it. Yeah, you should.
Maybe it's between now and October. I should
least,
start programming something like that and get something set up for
season 3.
Yeah, are they gonna call it season 3 or?
I'm not sure. Probably season 3.
I'm not sure either. All right, then. I think that's gonna about do it. Unless there's any other awards you wanted to give out that I didn't have listed.
The only other award I would give out is to Best Wife for putting up with me doing this podcast at the airport and everything. So give a shout out to my wife Juliana for that, because it's not easy when you're getting ready to go for your honeymoon to have me sitting here do this for a little while.
I mean, she could have been a guest. She could have.
Yeah. So who do you think is MVP?
Me.
Yeah, she's MVP.
Unfortunately, I don't really have a good vote for best wife, so I will just go with your wife as well, since that's the closest thing I can come up with.
Yeah, good answer. So, but yeah, thank you guys for listening today. You can follow me at Phade on Twitter, and then on YouTube it's actually MLG Phade. I don't know why I did that. I got to figure out how to change that for now, but. You can watch some Destiny videos of mine. I do a lot of Trials of Osiris and put up the flawless victories there. Got 2 up there right now. And I'll be playing Halo again more in the future. Probably not Anniversary too much, but once Halo 5 comes out, I'll definitely be putting some videos up for that. But thank you guys. Yeah.
All right. I am Phelan, FAIL3N on Twitter, on Twitch, all that fun stuff. Follow, subscribe, whatever. I'm starting to stream a lot again. I've been streaming some Fallout Shelter. I've been really digging that game. It's been fun. I plan on starting Batman this week. Thursday, I'm going to start the new Batman. Really excited about that. As far as the podcast goes, if you have any questions, comments, anything along those lines that you want to send to us, feel free to shoot us an email at 4shotpodcast@gmail.com. That's 4 is in the number 4shotpodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Any sort of feedback, questions, anything you want us to discuss, anything along those lines, we'd love to hear it. We appreciate you guys that stop by and chat every week. I know the times has been a little off recently, and the season's kind of winding down anyway. So we might be going to like an every other week type of thing once the season actually ends before Halo 5 comes out, because there's not going to be too much to talk about at that point other than probably just talking about Halo 5. So we'll have to figure out that schedule when we get to that point, but we appreciate everyone that listens now. Please subscribe and follow us on iTunes and YouTube and all that good stuff. And thanks for listening. And we will be back sometime next week, to be determined. We're not really sure how next week's timings are going to go because of, there's no online cup. So because of that, we might push the podcast out a little bit. And Phade's obviously on his honeymoon, as he's mentioned. So I might have Exo on next.
Back with margaritas, even though it's what.
I might have Exo on at some point next week to discuss Indy. If not, me and Phade will be doing the podcast a little bit later in the week. Either way, something will come out. Just a matter of time. I think that is about it, though. So thanks for listening, guys, and have a good week, and enjoy watching Indy.
Yep, have a good one, guys.